Hey, you there. Thanks for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Noxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 here in the Northeast, ending with Team 2 in the Southwest. Starting off with Team 1's regular sub-player of the Cybran Persuasion. He is Tran Dan, a 2300, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game. Overall, he is the Rust color player. To the west, we have in Ruby Red Chicken. He is an Aeon. Will he ever play Seraphim? So I can say that the chicken is producing chickens. Probably not. But here's hoping one day I will catch a game where he does play Seraphim. He is an Aeon again, like I said, as an 1800. In Amethyst Purple to the southwest, we have Corn as a UEF as a 1600. In the middle of Team 1's lineup, we have in Glow in the Dark Green Storm Lantern as a Cybran for this match as an 1800. And last but not least for Team 1 in Snow White, we have the Aeon Commander of Tabernacle. He is a 1600 in Snow White. So for Team 1's side of the map, they have 2 Aeons, 2 Cybrans, 1 UEF going with the classics, and no Seraphim for Team 1. Starting off with Team 2's regular sub-player in Imperial Grey, we have Dimitri 11. He is a Cybran for this match as a 2100, the highest rated player on Team 2. I almost said Team 1 there, but he is on Team 2. To the east, we have Snog as an Aeon for this match here in Chevy Crimson as a 1900. And to the north, we have Hank the Wank Tank. Very fun name to say. He is a Cybran for this match as a 1600 in Tropical Ocean Blue. To his north, we have an Orange the color orange in the middle of Team 2's lineup. It is Amon Ra. He is a UEF. He is an 1800. And last but not least here for Team 1 in... Sorry, for... I knew I'd say it at some point. In Stitch Blue for Team 2, we have Loki. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1700. So for Team 2's side of the map, they have 2 Cybrans, 2 Aeon, 1 UEF, which is the exact same lineup as Team 1, which means there are no Seraphim players in this match. Apologies to those who love to make grand entrances, but always arrive late. Hopefully, you will enjoy the game nonetheless. And for these 10 players on the map, how much recom do they have to scoop up? Currently sitting at, drumroll please, somebody... Just way less than I thought they would be. 690 mass per player, making it 69 mass per player in total. Not even really worth talking about. That was really not great. Anyways, looking at the mass points, hopefully the map will make up for it, and they do. Cutting the map, let's say down at the diagonal like so. There is, for Team 2 side of the map, there is 1, 2, 3 Trimex positions with a heaping host of mexes around that. I will also like to point out that there are 2 other starting locations here for each team. So it looks like they maybe prepped it for a 7v7, maybe couldn't get everybody that they wanted or couldn't get enough players, or whatever the case may be. It ended up being 7 players plotted for, only 5 players actually for each team. So there is a 5-star mix, both of them going for Dimitri 11, and on Team 1 side of the map, looks like it's being shared. At least the west one is between Chicken and Storm Lantern. Actually, he's going to get 1 of those mexes, and that's it. And the other set of mexes going to the air player of Tran Dan. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead to see where our players are headed off to in this game. And it's probably just going to be a 2v2 with the air players maybe slotting somewhere. It looks like Trandan's going to go west, and Dimitri 11 is going to hang out in his base. So it's going to be possibly a 3v2 in the northwest for Team 1 versus Team 2, and a 2v2 in the southeast in that regard. We'll just have to see how things trend one way or the other. I wouldn't be surprised if Dimitri 11 sends his comms somewhere else to assist. It's a very spread out map. There's pretty much no obstructions bar the middle circular whatever nonsense thingamajig you want to call this thing, mountain range, mountain sickle, whatever nonsense. There's no mexes, there's no nothing in it. Maybe you can stick a radar system down there, maybe, but that's about it. But there's really nothing hindering our players from traversing this map. There's a couple of corners that are kind of knocked out by mountains, but there's no bowl. This isn't a bowl map where the entire edge is covered in mountains. There's not going to be an easy fly-by opportunity here by either team. everybody is going to be aware of what's going on. Essentially, we do see gun has been started here for Team 1 Storm Lantern, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a gun started for Nabber Apple for short. Not for short. Nabber Apple for short. There we go. Gun has been started here for him, going for range first and most likely speed, or maybe range and sensor package. Gun has been started here for Amon-Ra. Gun possibly here for Loki. No, he's going for a type of gun, but it's T1 PD, not his own personal gun. And then we have Korn over here hanging out with, of course, Team 1's Chicken and Trandan making their way southward. Speed is not going on the way here for Tabernacle. So 3 gun comms coming online here for both teams, not for both teams, but for the teams in total. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Loki go for gun, or somebody else on Team 2 on the southern side go for gun. Most likely Hank the Wing Tank would probably be the better option, because this is the inside lane, this is the outside lane. So it's going to take a lot longer to go all the way around than it is to go cut down the middle. So we could see an opportunity where Tabernacle links up with Storm Lantern and pushes against Hank the Wing Tank. So somebody, most likely Hank the Wing Tank, probably needs gun on board sooner rather than later. And as I speak of it, of course, speaking of it, Hank the Wing Tank starts his gun upgrade. Obviously a little bit later than Storm Lantern. He's going for stealth, so he's going to be rooted to the spot for a little bit. And it's a Siren v Siren, so it's going to be a little bit of time before we see any sort of comm v comm action. So far, 7 minutes on the clock here, and nobody has engaged with anybody other on the other team. Nobody has engaged with anybody else on the other team. Wow, I cannot speak today. I do apologize for my poor auditory performances. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I'm just having issues with my voice box or something. Anyway, Dimitri 11 going for his T3 air facility upgrade. He still has not left his main base, which again, in a map like this, arguments can be made for both. We do see that Team 1 Trandan not going for that. He is going to start soon for his T3 upgrade. There it is. He's going to go for another P-Gen and the upgrade. He's probably a little bit behind his opponent. Won't be too terribly behind, though. But we'll just have to see if that does affect things one way or the other, if that T3 air facility finishes before the one for Trandan. We do see that Amon-Ra pushing him with his gun comm a little bit, trying to encircle this central mountain circle range nonsense. We still have not seen any comm-on-comm action as of yet. T2 starting to make its main stage appearance here for Loki in the west. And we'd be surprised to see anybody else trying to transition their main bulk of forces to T2. We could see the first comm-on-comm action. Storm Lantern and Hank the Wing Tank. There. Oh, there it is. There it is. Storm Lantern shooting into the back of Hank the Wing Tank. Hank the Wing Tank is getting out of there. That stealth upgrade causing some issues for his know-how of what's going on over there. Gun has been canceled here on Korn's commander, noticing that Amon-Ra is moving in. We do see that Amon-Ra continuing to pressure, try to grab these couple of mexes. A couple of units inbound for Loki, coming in to just swing across the middle here, not going on the outside lane. But just like I talked about earlier with Tabernacle going directly west is what we see Loki doing, going directly east, intercepting the main bulk of forces here for Chicken, allowing a little bit of breathing room for Amon-Ra to continue to pressure. It's mainly T2 force here for Loki. We see a couple of T2s online here for Chicken, but it's going to be mainly about how many units he can keep online and how many units he can keep at bay for how long for Chicken. Chicken dealing with those units quite nicely. And now we see another force of Amon-Ra and Korn having at it. P2 PD trying to be built, overcharging, kills off half of the HP for that PD emplacement. And I'm going to split things because there's another battle raging in the southeast possibly between Tabernacle and Snog. We do see that Amon-Ra starting to be outnumbered here. Most of his forces have been dealt with. It is a long walk home. We could see the first departure of the game at 10.5 minutes. If Team 2's Amon-Ra is not careful, overcharge kills, almost kills off that pillar, and then he does kill it off. Sitting at 2-star veterancy now. Korn sitting at no star veterancies, and we do see that, of course, Chicken. I don't think it would have been wise for him to try to encircle Amon-Ra. I feel like one or the other commanders on Team 1 would have been targeted because of that, especially with some T2 forces building here for Loki. It looks like that battle is now dealt with. The battle in the southeast didn't really happen the way that I thought it was going to happen, so a little bit unfortunate in that regard. in the southeast. Snog continuing to pressure Tabernacle, keeping him back, trying to grab the southeastern corner and keep it isolated from Team 1, just so that it's just one less thing they have to worry about. Nano Repair coming online here for Team 2. Tank the Wing Tank. He already has Stealth, of course, on board. His opponent of Storm does not have Nano on board, which will give him a huge advantage in keeping his comm alive. Gun almost done here for Corn, getting some assistance from Trandan, making me think T3 Air, yes, is online for Team 1 and Team 2. Still, Dimitri 11 has not left his main base, but, I mean, he's microing things in his main base quite nicely and getting up to T3 mexes pretty quickly here, already sitting at 134 mass per second. Team 1 overall is leading the mass generation game, but only by about 40 or so mass per second. It makes it about 8 mass per player, which is about, a T2 mex fully ringed roughly, so it's not a terrible amount of mass ahead, but it can make the difference as time goes on. Of course, any sort of advantage could steamroll or even just snowball into a huge advantage, or the opposite, where that tiny advantage is way overblown and then you end up just losing everything. Blaze is having some conflict with this tiny little hill that they're really struggling to see over, and there's just plasma shots being thrown at one another here. A couple of Asylums coming in to shield those Blazes and those Aurora that are in the mix here, acting as little mini Blazes. We see in the east Snog continuing to pressure Tabernacle, not letting him rest. Blaze is inbound for him in the east and in the west of his position. Tabernacle is suffering, but gets underneath 3,500 hit points of shield coverage from that Asylum, so he's going to be fine for the time being. Snog now under threat a little bit, and these guys still trading shots, but it looks like they're both going to just say, okay, you can go back to base, we're not going to worry about it, and they call it a day for now. In the west side of things, again, Team 2's player of Namonran now at the 12 o'clock position for the little rock there in the middle. Very dangerous to be that far forward. Unless he starts retreating here shortly, he might be sniped here. Looks like he is going to fall back a little bit. We'll see if that continues to actually happen or he stays there. Team 2's Tank the Wing Tank continuing to pressure Team 1's Storm Lantern. And look at this. Team 2 almost has control of the entire inner ring of that mountain. Granted, it doesn't give them a lot of tactical advantage in terms of mexes or height advantage or anything, but hey, an advantage is something, I guess. Shield starting here for Snog, so Tabernacle has gone for the mobile shield approach, and Snog has gone for the my shield is on board, my comm approach. The Asylum is down, the radar is down. He needs to finish this sooner rather than later, or the upgrade will be canceled. He sends his forces in to protect his commander, to stall for enough time to get that upgrade online. Comm turns, faces, starts to go after the Asylum. The advanced range is going to be canceled, but at least the base shield is done. 8,000 additional hit points on board that commander, and now he's being blitzed down. There's a lot of Blazes. T2 PD opening up now that they're in range, and get some nice little AoEs on those Blazes. Snog now almost at 1-star veterancy. Tabernacle at 2-star veterancy here. And it looks like that force will be forced back a little bit. And we do see the Hank the Wing Tank continuing to pressure Team 1's Storm Lantern with that gun and Nano Commander. Still does not have 1-star veterancy despite being in multiple engagements at this point. Same thing for Storm Lantern. Storm Lantern's taking a hit. He's back into the green, but how long he's going to stay in there. A couple of T3 Harbingers online for Chicken, trying to blitz past the commander of Loki. Loki doesn't have any upgrades on board. Almost kills off that. Blaze will get that kill, and will work his way up to his first chest candy. Ras has been started on board. Team 2's air player of Dimitri 11. Advanced range has been started for Snog. Will give him a slight advantage in the range department against his Aeon opponent. Granted, he can always go for Sniper Comm as well, but he has not decided to do so as of yet. Hank the Wing Tank blitzing down some T1 PD coverage, trying to just be very useful and kind of opening some doors for his units to move in without any sort of issues. The advanced range is almost on board Snog's commander there. It is. Will he go for shield heavy? I feel like it's a little too early to go for that. He probably will at some point, but right now I think he's happier with just trying to pressure Team 1's Tabernacle, who's currently going for shield. But now we have the gun and nano commander of Hank the Wing Tank and the advanced range, speed, and shield commander of Snog hanging out. There could be a 2v1 approach here. Hank the Wing Tank not gonna just stop moving. Blazes open up, gets some nice overcharges, gets a second rank in veterancy on board that commander. I'm surprised that Tabernacle has not responded to this yet. PD opening up, PD continuing to fire into that commander. Snog now moving in to assist. And it's just going to be the slow erosion of Tabernacle's forces if he's not careful with this dual comm approach. It does look like Amon-Ra has retreated and has now finished a tactical missile upgrade. Will he go for Billy Nuke early? Probably not. And range has been started on board Chicken. He has the center package online. We do see that there's a force from Storm Lantern moving in to assist Tabernacle, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe he's just trying to pull Storm Lantern forces away from the center, but there's nothing else to counter with. So I don't really get being that far forward with this commander with no support without having some sort of essentially attack vector planned after that, but maybe he's just thinking with his commander and nothing else. I don't know. Tactical missile is outbound. Will it go for the comm of Korn? He's underneath some shield coverage. Will it strike the commander? Missile is outbound. Shield is going down. It takes out the shield strength, but not the comm. Comm did not feel any adverse effects from it. Another tactical missile is outbound. Korn moves, and that tactical missile will miss. It was a nice attempt, to say the least. Had he gone for Billy Nuke, maybe he could have gotten a commander, but it's going to be TMD built, and that's going to deter that missile launcher quite nicely. Advanced range almost done on board Chicken's comm, and Trandan hanging out in the middle of two of his friendly neighborhood bases. He hasn't gone back to his main base, keeping his comm away from it. And still Team 2's Dimitri has not even left his main base, hasn't left home, hasn't seen the sights, just wants to build his base, wants to hang out, play SimCity a little bit, call it a day. Getting some ASFs on the front lines and doing a very good job in pushing in with a couple of gunships. They are whalers. They're not the best air-to-ground weapons, but they're definitely better than the restorers, to say the least. Storm Lantern getting some more shields online to protect his commander, just to make sure he doesn't get sniped by those gunships. Gunships going after some T2 mexes. Will grab that one. Nice grab there. T2 mexes now under threat here for Tabernacle. It could be a way to weaken the eastern side and allow Team 2's forces to just trail northward with less and less of a hill to climb. We have some Redeemers trying to come online to deal with the ASF and gunship threat, but T3 land headquarters has been targeted. Another gunship adds to the fray. An airfight occurs. Gunships not the main. They were the main target, but now the ASFs are. Looks like Dimitri 11 will claim the victory. A couple of gunships are receiving some missiles, some stray missiles, and there's also a nice little bouncer nearby. T3 land headquarters has been knocked out for Tabernacle. That's going to set him back a minute or two. That's definitely going to hurt as the game progresses on the land side of things in the south. More mechs is being taken out, going outside of AA range. Another mech's gone. This is going to be a huge, huge win for Team 2 on this eastern side. Quit, says Trandan. I don't know if he's referencing just leave or something. I don't know. There goes another T2 mechs. And there goes a T1 mechs. Ooh, does it grab the radar? Oh, you got it. Nice. And there come the gunships going after another T2 mechs. And another T2 mechs possibly here shortly. And another one can be under threat right there. PD going down. Does not grab the last. No, it does grab the last T2 mechs. Look at that. Team 2's Snog now pushing in. And now Team 2's Hank the Wing Tank has surrounded Storm Lantern. That's not a good thing here for Team 1. They'll lose the first player of the game. There he goes. All of those units are gone. But it doesn't matter because Team 1 has lost a player. Hank the Wing Tank can't pressure that much. But Amon-Ra is surrounded by a couple of bricks. That's not a good thing. He's trying to stay alive. Dodge and weave, bob, weave, bob, weave. But there he goes. Team 2 loses their first player of the game. And it is a nice fair trade. 1 for 1. And that is not a good day for Amon-Ra or Storm Lantern, dropping this game now to a 4v4. We have Snog and Tabernacle getting into it between what color scheme is better on board the Aeon Commander. Harbinger nearby, easy one tap. Tabernacle distracted by another Harbinger to the west. There's one right there. You can easily target it. Oh, nice overcharge. He does have shield heavy on board that commander, and Snog only has the regular shield on board. Is definitely one of the things keeping Tabernacle in the game, because if he didn't have the extra 13,000 hit points, he would have taken, let's see, 8, would have given him like only 2,000 actually base hit points on board. So he would have still been in the green, but he would have been teetering between the yellow and the green at that point. The game has shaken up quite nicely. The central players in the middle of the map, that being Storm Lantern and Amon-Ra, have been wiped out. Gunships moving in to secure the area that once belonged to said Amon-Ra. A couple of Harmagers inbound to assist with defensive operations for Loki, and ASFs to boot to shield said gunships. Doesn't want to lose his investment. A couple of Harmagers try to run by, but Chicken can see them and moves in to intercept, and that goes nowhere, unfortunately, for Loki. It was a nice attempt, but his opponent has sensor package on board, so he can see them quite easily, and that's the range at which he can see. Look at that. It is a chunk of the map. A nice little working environment. Not as good, of course, as the Soothsayer, but it's on board the commander, and it's mobile, so a nice little thing to be able to use. Couple of bricks starting to push in for Trandan. He's taking over the base here for Storm Lantern. And the base that belonged to Amon-Ra is gifted over to Loki, so he can micro things on the land side of things. Shield, sorry, not shield, but stealth field generator almost done here for Hank the Wing Tank. He has stealth on board, but he wants to be extra stealthy. If he wants to be even extra stealthy, he'll get a mobile deceiver unit and just stealth on stealth on stealth. And I think that's all you can do. Oh, and then he can go cloaking, so he can go stealth on stealth on stealth on cloaking. Or actually, that'd be cloaking on stealth on stealth on stealth. I think that's how that would be. Anyway, however that math makes sense is however that math makes sense. At 22 minutes on the clock here, Team 1, Team 2, roughly at the same mass per second. Team 2 slightly ahead, but not by much. Both teams have lost one player. Storm Lantern first, and then shortly thereafter, Amon-Ra got hit and destroyed. So it is a 4v4 game here. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, as always, thank you so very much for watching to this point in the video. I really do appreciate it. So again, shout out to each and every single one of you. I always enjoy reading your comments and responding to them, as well as, of course, seeing that number on YouTube go up and up and up. A couple of bricks try to run by Hank the Wing Tank, but intercepting bricks are inbound, and they'll interrupt those plans for world domination or mass destruction. Couple of bricks, and now a nice little trebuchet over here take out the stealth field that he just built. Trandan said should have quitted. Says, I mean, yeah, it sucks that Team 2's airplane went on a rampage, but it happens. I don't think that's worth quitting over. That's just my opinion, of course. Take it with a grain of salt, or a lot of salt, or some spice, one or the other. Both works. You do see in the east Snog sizing up his opponent. Lots of shield, actually mainly just shields for Tabernacle. Okay, at this point, you might as well just build a couple of stationary shields, because this is a lot of them online. I mean, yeah, they're mobile, they're great. There's 24 of them. But, I mean, I feel like you should at least put a couple of stationary shields just to kind of add to the effect of it at that point. In the west, it is still a 2v1 scenario in favor of Team 1. Loki's doing a very good job of keeping Team 1 at bay. The air is getting even more and more condensed and more annoying for Team 2 to deal, for Team 1 to deal with. Lots of those Gemini running around. A couple of bricks try to go around the mountain, but the mountain is proving essentially impassable these days. There goes an overcharge, kills off that brick. Trandan is not really doing great with those bricks as he tries to get some work done and almost gets some work done, but just Team 2 is there to intercept him, so he's doing as much as he can. He just cannot seem to break through. Nano at 108 hit points per second, 21,000 mass killed for that Cybran commander. And Snog is losing hit points quite quickly. He has to be careful. He's going to just bite the dust here. Lots of T1 PD being built, lots of T2 PD being built, and Harmagers inbound. Of course, there's a lot of asylums here, so it looks like there's a lot of firepower, but there really isn't. It's mainly shields. There's some Ascendants in here as well as some T2AA. Snog going to get some nice veterancy from this, targeting Tabernacle's commander, killing off that Harbinger. Most of the firepower has been dealt with for both teams, actually. A couple of PD remain, but it's not really going good here for Tabernacle. Looks like Snog initialized the engagement, fell back, and now Tabernacle is feeling worse for where should not have engaged. That's probably what he's thinking. Nice overcharge, gets a double kill there for Snog, gets him up to 4-star veterancy. And now we could just see a walk down happening. We could see a situation where, of course, Snog is chasing Tabernacle. Tabernacle not in range of Snog, but Snog in range of Tabernacle in range of Snog, but Snog not in range of Tabernacle. There we go. I was saying it and realizing that didn't make sense. And look at this. It's just a back and forth. Harbingers coming in all the time for both of these players. Snog back up to full shields. Tabernacle not really regenerating that much shield power. He needs to work on that. He's sitting at 2,500 capacity. 25,000 capacity. Wow. And is now taking some whole plating hit points. PD going down. Engineers going down. Tabernacle's got to get out of there or he's going to just bite the dust here. And 25 Harbs. Chicken says, can we stop? There's also a Colossus sitting over there with some Perseus. I don't know what he's talking about with the Harbs. Oh, can we stop GC is what he says. It's going to be close. T3 online here for Corn. And it's not continuing to just take out the PD. Just doesn't care that he's being fired at by the comm or the PD. Just like, man, I'm just going for all of those PD kills and whatnot. Takes out a group of engineers. That's going to hurt the build power. Would love to see him go a little bit further north and take out that TMD, that volcano. He wants to, again, kind of stay underneath the safety of his PD emplacements. Definitely don't blame him for that. GC starting to size up his opponent, and now we have some SA. Why are the SACU RAS preset commanders on the front line? Please explain. They should not be here. They should be all the way back there doing other things, not that. Chicken builds an experimental. It's going to be a Colossus. I wasn't able to produce chickens because there's A, no Seraphim on Team 1, and B, he is not a Seraphim player in terms of, like, he's didn't pick the faction, so I can't say Chicken produces chickens. Colossus now built here for Snog. That Colossus is now inbound here from Chicken, but it's a little too late. I feel like the PD firebase position here for Team 1's Corn is starting to go down. Colossus now engaging. Is that SACU nearby? No, it's just hanging out over there. Couple of 3 bricks. A lot of bricks are inbound. Percy's also coming in from the northeast as well. And Harbingers to the north. He's getting triple teamed here by Team 1, and that is not going to be a good day for that Colossus. I wouldn't say mass dump. He's going to get a lot of kills from this, but it's not going to go good here for Team 2's Colossus. There is a second one for Snog, but it's going to be diverted over here. And soon that SACU is going to fall down. There goes the Rambo preset. Looks like that one is supposed to be there because it's Rambo, but the other one was not supposed to be there. Yeah, that's a RAS preset. Don't know why that's there. Colossus is just going to bite the dust, but it is going to get a lot of crash damage, though, if these engineers, but all these Harbingers and whatnot kind of just sit next to him. There goes the kill. Percy's trying to deal with the brick wall into the east, but there's just so much firepower coming out of Team 1. It doesn't even matter. Team 2 should have just stayed on defense. They saw an opportunity, but Team 1 countered heavily, and Team 2 paid the price. In the southeast, huge air grid forming here for Dimitri 11, just continuing to expand. He's actually kind of encroaching on his teammates' base over here. Snog's like, can you just move 2 meters over, please? Can you crush him, says Dimitri. Talking about Tabernacle, I think. With the GC, I think he can. Team 1's Tabernacle took a hit in the eco a while ago. He's producing a GC now, but it's going to take a couple minutes at least to produce that thing, if not more. Once that GC comes over here, he'll probably just push and probably either kill Tabernacle or just wipe out his eco and let him survive, which could be a way to do that. A couple of Percy's just ripping apart a couple of the engineers. Engineers just trying to make a living here, but the Percy's say no. No mass for you, no soup for you, no nothing for you. Wait for my guy, says Chicken. Talking about not pressuring this western front until the GC is the main, essentially, distraction for Team 2 to target. Just slurp the mass before you push again, says Stormland. Slurp the mass. That's a very interesting way to put it. Here comes the move. Snog continuing to now pressure Tabernacle. Going to buy a little bit of time for his Colossus to get there and just storm on through. Mega, says Hank the Wing Tank. Mega is online for Team 1's Trandan. That's going to provide some issues for Team 2 to deal with. It could easily be diverted over here to the east, which it might actually be doing. Corn produces an experimental, most likely a FAF worry. There goes one of the Harbingers. The can has been kicked. The worms are open. And here comes that GC right as Snog planned it. Tabernacle's like, oh no, there's the GC. Oh no. Oh, that's a great move here by Snog. He pushed him with a smaller force. He knew the GC was inbound. And that GC, if he doesn't go for the comm, he's just going to go for economic damage. This is a great play here by Snog. And that GC still pushing in, targeting literally everything else. Nice grouping of Harbingers, waiting for another little overcharge to get more of those units out. There goes another group. And that comm of Snog now at almost 20,000 mass killed. Both of the frontline players on the east are doing very well with their comms. GC still not targeting the comm. Continuing to pressure. Explosions happens to the west. It's an SACU. Nothing to worry about here, folks. There goes the Tabernacle Commander. Will he survive? GC needs to keep walking. He'll get out of range. Tabernacle loses all of his shield hit points. Colossus continues to walk. Tabernacle just going to accept it, most likely. There he goes. Team 2 is going to get another kill here. And there he goes. 31 minutes on the clock here, and Team 1 suffers another loss. In the west, GC goes down to dual GCs here from Team 2's Loki. First, he's lining up, just ripping that thing apart. And with the eastern side down, Trandan gains another base. He's on triple base here so far. Is there any spicy plays here so far here for Team 2? No, just not SSU, but ASF, 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 ASF. And why did I mention that I make ASFs? Grab production here for Hank the Wing Tank. Fapple production here for Loki. And I'm assuming maybe GC, but maybe he's just going to stop that for now. The gunships are inbound, moving in to go after said Crab to open the door for that GC. Lots of bricks over here coming in to assist with defensive operations here for Trandan. Now Mega's at 90%. Tabernacle says there's gunships overhead, and yes, they are. They might be trying to have a little sequel that happened earlier on. Will Team 1's ASF move? And that is a heaping amount of ASF. 300 for Team 2. Team 1, 207. We're sitting at over 600 ASFs in the game so far. That is just a metric ton of ASFs. I can start Parasys Chicken. Ooh, we're going to get a Paragon? It's been a while since I've actually seen one finish, so it would be lovely to actually see one actually get finished in this game. 32 minutes on the clock here. Players are starting to think about how to end the game. Paragon's a good way to do it. You're just going to have a plan to spend the mass as you're building it. Harbingers push in. Gunships fall back. Try to protect the GC. The GC will be taken out, unfortunately, but Team 2 has inflicted a ton of damage to Team 1. Essentially taking the focus from Trandan on solely air to now land and air, essentially just cutting away at that APM consistently. The only downside, of course, is that Trandan sitting at 1.2k mass per second, and his air player opponent of Dimitri 11, not even half that. Well, now he's at half that. But that is a huge amount to be ahead. But again, a lot of that mass, of course, is going to land units, going to defenses, going to rebuild mexes, going to do all these other things that normally you won't have to worry about. But he has to worry about now. T3 mexes being wiped out. That eco is now getting worse and worse for Trandan. Will the ASFs move in? The gunships fall back. They're moving a little bit. They're buzzing around. It's going to be a bunch of Geminis throwing hands at one another. Loki builds another experimental. Couple of air scouts over there on the ground going to get taken out. And Fat Boy pushing in against Fat Boy. Fat Boy coming to assist to Colossus over here to the west. The ASF count getting pretty high so far. Still more bricks in this base, just ripping everything apart. GC trying to be fast built as much as possible. Bricks continuing to just pressure all of this, not letting anybody get a moment's rest. And now we see Snog just coming in, just having a nice little time, scooping up all the mass, getting more max extractors online, that sort of thing. What is that ASF count now? 500 ASFs now on field here for Team 2. Trandan probably at 350. Almost 400. Oh, that wasn't too far off. So 500 versus 400. 900 ASFs. It's only been a couple of minutes. And that count is just speeding along. At some point, Somebody's going to be like, hey, I built too many units. I can't see the screen. Look at this. Look at them fanning out. Look at that nonsense. Oh, they're just going to land there. Oh, that's just disgusting with how much this land they take up. Look at that chunk. Look at that thing. This thing is massive. That's a lot of ASFs, man. It's fun to watch, but man, I could not imagine having that many ASFs trying to just... You just let them go. You can't even do turns with them. Just let them go, have some fun. Don't try to worry about getting those tight-knit turns that we see a lot of players do. Mex is being taken offline just constantly. Just try to get poke and prod. And now this game, Team 2 in control of the southern half, Team 1 in the control of the northern half. So it's gone from kind of the northeast versus southwest to the north v the south. ASF's josturing, clamoring, whatever you want to call it, just hanging out over here. 440, that count is getting very, very high. Somebody's got to build an air experimental at this point. I don't care who it is. Somebody with all of these ASFs has to build something. Because that is just a lot of ASFs. Even if it's just, hey, Mr. Mises, look at me, kind of experimental of be distracted by my ASF, or be distracted by my experimental to go die by the ASFs kind of thing. I think that came out right. I don't know. I'm struggling today, I think. Paragon has been started, been ignored now. Maybe we'll see it built, maybe we won't. ASF sitting on the western edge of the map, just spinning over there. Look at that shape they're forming. Nice little... They're doing donuts. They're doing a very thin, very elongated donut. Very fat over here to the edge. He's getting very tight with his circles, I might add. Look at this. Doing very well at like trying to keep them all knit and tight and whatnot. He's trying to build like an atom or something. Has like a dot in the middle and has all the electron rings spinning around it kind of thing. Mars reminded of the Jimmy Neutron show. I think it's whenever they do a transition or whatever. That's like his thing. Is like there's a... I forget what element it is, but it's a nucleus with a bunch of obviously electrons spinning around it. Maybe I don't know what it was, but it was something. I think it had 3 or 4 rings, so it was definitely 3rd row, 4th row. And well, if it has 3 rings, it has to have at least it has to be on the 3rd row at least. It's been a long time since I went to school and actually watched that show. I didn't watch it at school, but it's been a while since I've been in school anyways, so botting, says Dimitri. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But the game has kind of died down a little bit in the action department. ASF sitting over here. You can't even see that that land facility. It's just encased in ASFs. All of them have that closed out icon. Not all of them. Some of them do, but a lot of them actually soaking up Trandan's power. They have the personal radar system on board, essentially. And we see that the ones in the west for Dimitri 11 don't have them on because he's worried about power consumption, so I don't blame him there. How is... that's what I was looking at Trend. How's your power consumption? Oh, he's perfectly fine. Couple of GCs walk around and lots of sniper bots, almost emulating my gameplay of that one campaign mission of just snipers only. But this is the problem with snipers is they're kind of weak, and most of them get wiped out. Batboy turns around and just rips that GC apart. ASF's still waiting to go. We haven't seen that major air fight happening. Thanks for Mass, says Chicken. Yeah, he's just going to fund it. The Paragon with that. Okay, so you're building an artillery piece and you're building a Paragon. Can you please make up your mind which one you want to do first? Because usually you build the Paragon, then the artillery, not the other way around. A couple of GCs walking to a bar over here to the east. Tons of Harbingers, I might add. That GC in the back being sheltered by its brother. And there goes that GC here for Team 2. Lots of experimentals going down here in this fight. Lots of T3 units as well. Team 1 definitely going to get a lot of mass thrown into their coffers and then shipped off to that Paragon for processing. Oh, that GC's going to go down here. A couple more shots. There it goes. That GC's down. That crab's going to go down. That crab's going to go down. There's just too many experimentals online still for Team 1. 2 crabs and 2 GCs to boot. Mega says, Hank the Wing Tank, he's just like, stop producing megas. It's annoying. Satellite has been built for Loki. Loki pushing in. He might be going after Corn, but he may be just trying to carve a path, at least take out some mass. Fat Boy's running around, taking out T3 mexes, taking out whatever they can. 200,000k mass gunship. Says Hank the Wayne Tank. That is, yeah, that's a lot of mass over there. Currently on the field, we started out with 690. Currently sitting at 355,000. More than enough mass to produce any game ender, and almost 2 of them. What's the ASF count? I'm just enthralled with the ASF counts. I haven't seen them this big. 700 ASF. So many. Yes, thank you, Hank the Wayne Tank. So many ASFs. I might just have to make the thumbnail the ASFs at this point. I might, because there is 1,300 plus ASFs on screen, and they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there. There's a group over here, and there's a group over here, and they're not doing anything. They're just hanging out. Looks like a GC for Dimitri gets into a base he wasn't supposed to be. Gets spotted, gets chased down by a couple of GCs and a crab. That thing is not firing for some reason. Looks like it's targeting the SMD. Will he get it? Yes, he will. That takes out some SMD coverage for Team 1. Does he have a backup? He definitely has a backup, and it is loaded. Artillery is online. Please tell me you're targeting that air grid. That thing is not shielded. It's not as volatile as a big square, but it's decently close to that. Something in Russian. Oh, is this the fight we've been waiting for? How many? Hold on. I gotta pause it. How many ASF? Oh, I can't. Okay, fine. I'll just slow it down a little bit. No. Okay. 7, almost 800 ASFs. Trandan. 650. They're going after a bug that Team 2's Dimitri 11 built, essentially acting as a distraction. Trandan sends most of his ASF back and just leaves the detachment going after the bug. He built the second bug. That bug is gone. That bug will probably survive. There's a bunch of gunships around it as well. A lot of AA on board. That's so ugly. So many ASFs. Almost 800. We might see 1,500 ASFs on the field, and we're going to see 1,500 ASFs on the field here pretty shortly. That is, oh, it's getting there. It's almost 600. If he gets the 900, then that'll be 1,500 ASFs. Just an absolute metric ton of ASFs. And of course, the game has been fixed a long time ago with big ASF fights like this. And looks like we're going to have it. Here we go. The moment that I have been waiting for, and I think everybody else, since I've been just upping it up so much. Oh, no. A couple of ASFs get shot at. Will Team 1... Yep, Team 2 and Team 1 are going to engage. Team 1's going to just go after the gunships. That's not the play. You got to go after the ASFs. And there we go. There's the big ball of ASFs engaging. It's just nastiness going on. Look at all that gray. Look at all that rust. Just running over one another. That's a lot of air. Yes, thank you, Snog. That's a lot of air. How many? That's just so many. So many. It's so ugly. 800, yep. Yeah, Snog's like, that's too many. That's just too many. Wow, look at those ASFs for Team 1's Trandan. Just get eviscerated. Oof. How many ASFs remain for Dimitri is the question. So out of the 800, we'll say that he had, he lost 250. Out of the 600 or so that Trandan had, he lost all of them. So a 1-to-3 ratio is a very good ratio, especially because he has almost 600 ASFs remaining and a decent amount of gunships if he didn't lose all of them. He has some of them, it looks like. How is that Paragon looking? Well, it's almost done. It's in the green, so Team 1 might be able to fight back in that regard. How is the artillery? It's going after the air gun. Oh, there's a chunk. There's a chunk of it. Now it's cut in half. That's actually not a bad thing. There's not going to be a huge kind of cascade that happens. It's just going to be that section or that section. Another emissary inbound. That's going to take out another PGen. Nothing too bad. Mass for Paris says chicken. Oh, that is not looking good for Team 2. Sorry, for Team 1 on the land front, though. I mean, obviously doesn't look good for the ASFs. I'll just call it 1,500 ASFs were roughly 1,500 ASFs were on the field at one time, which is just so many ASFs. You don't really see that unless you play Setins, really. I mean, dual gap, you won't see that just because it's not really that. I mean, you can do that, but still, I feel like it's more popular in Setins to do that. I think it's just the map is designed in a way that kind of not even lobbies for that, but kind of just gives the idea. Plan Boy says Hank the White Tank might be too late. Tele SACU mass ASF. I just want to pause and read the comment. Mass ASF control K onto it. Well, I mean, that's one way to do it, right? ASF's not going over the top of the everything. Couple of satellites overhead here for Loki, and here comes a bug. The bug going into the main base. There's no AA nearby. That's wow. That's oof. That's a oofda right there, Loki. That yep. Pair with no Sam's question mark or confused face or whatever for Snog. That is rough for Team 1. They just got the Paragon online, started building some of those salvations, but just could not defend it against the bug. Bricks moving into Trandan. They've mostly been dealt with. He has his own artillery piece online. So Team 1 had 2 artillery pieces online. Now they have 1. Looks like a Mavor has been started because why not? I think he was going to try to build it with the Paragon. And there is the desync chicken control Ks, Trandan control Ks, and looks like Corn control K there as well. I think that was Corn. Where's Corn? Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that Corn right there? There he goes. Team 1 vacates the scene. That is the game, everybody. I was aware of this screen right here, of it being a desync, so I knew that it was going to be at the end, but holy, that's a lot of ASF still. So many. So many. But that is the game here, folks. 44 minutes and 26 seconds on the clock. And just for the fact that he built 800 ASFs, Team 2's Dimitri 11 wins the game. He won air. He sent the bug in, killed off the Paragon. That was it. Team 1's like, nope, we're done. We're done with playing the game today. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, let me know down in the comments what your favorite moment of the video was, and I will see all of you in the next one.